Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. I'm your host, Marco D'Angelo. I am joined in studio by Brian Leonard, also of WagerTalk.com. And we're going to break down college and pro action for you this week. And we're going to get things started right in college football. Clemson at Boston College. And Brian, obviously, Clemson, prior to last week, the team had been, they exploded for 50 and 41 points. And everybody was all excited about the freshman quarterback that came in, Deshaun Watson. Unfortunately, and I know it was a bad break for you, he got hurt last week in the first quarter, injured his finger, out for the rest of the game and going to be out for quite a while. Everybody's panicking now, in my opinion, on Clemson because they lost the quarterback.
I appreciate you bringing this game up. I beat you in another lunch bet on the videos, and of course you got to come out. I mentioned my play on Clemson last week by picking Clemson here.
But I'm also telling you that Clemson still won the game, didn't cover without their starting quarterback, which if he would have been in there would have been a totally different ball game. I agree, and you cannot predict injuries.
Right. They win by 6. They have 2 first and goals from the 1, 2 separate times, score 3 points, and your starting quarterback, who's a stud, by the way.
Yeah. The only time you can predict an injury is if you see them bring out, if me and you were at a buffet and you see them bring out a fresh plate of crab legs, there's a good chance I'm going to pull a hamstring trying to get to the buffet before you. But this one here, and it's true. We look at this one, and everybody, first off, I'm going to tell you, I agree with you 100%. There's a night and day difference between these two quarterbacks. They have different styles. He brought a lot to the offense when he was in there, 50 and 41 points. But let's not forget that they faced North Carolina and North Carolina State, who both have horrible defenses, okay? So everybody's been scoring points on those teams. North Carolina can't stop anybody. I mean, they are an absolute, it's like running through Swiss cheese with that defense. So, yes, they put up big numbers, but I think if Stout would have been in there, the original starter that started the season and was replaced, I think he would have scored points too against those teams. Now, last week, going against Louisville's got a good defense. Let's not sell them short. They are a good team, and I think that you've got to admit that if you make a game plan with these two quarterbacks, they're going to be totally different because they're different styles. Once Watson went out and Stout had to come in, their game plan was designed for Watson, not for Stout, so they did struggle. Now you've got a full week of practice. He's back, is getting the reps as the #1 starter. And I'm going to bring up a game from last week, and unfortunately for me, it didn't turn out well, but it's going to prove my point that they did play well. BYU lost their quarterback 2 weeks ago. And then they struggled when the backup came in because, again, you don't get the reps. You've got a game plan designed for the other quarterback. They're different styles, and they didn't do good. And everybody, I thought, overreacted to BYU in the Central Florida game. And I was on BYU. I ended up losing the game, and I still say referees blew the final call. If you saw that game, I don't know how they did not call interference on that final play. But he moved the team very well. The offense scored points in that game, and it was a difference because they made a game plan that suited him, and he got a week to practice it. And that's what I'm going with here. I think they overreacted on this line.
My line with Watson in the game was 11.5, and what is it now, 5? So
it's down to 5.
So that's a 6.5-point differential for the quarterback. Maybe a little bit slightly too much.
We don't make 6-point differences for Mannings and Brady's.
Well, Manning's about it.
Yeah.
But in the situation, and Stout, as you pointed out, I mean, he was there in the past. He was a starter to start the season. The reason why he was a starter is because they didn't want to put the freshman in there coming off the bat. They didn't think he was quite ready. Obviously, he was when they put him in the game. He's a tremendous athlete. But plenty of experience for Stout. And as bad as he looked last week, like you mentioned, they still won the game by 6. But it may be a little bit of an overreaction here, and it does make sense. The line came out really high, and then it just was bet down constantly. The lines maker knew that Stout was going to be quarterbacking. Right, yeah. It wasn't a surprise to the guys who put out the line.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and this is my play, and I also want to tell the viewers this week, head over to wagertalk.com. Special week for me. This is my annual. Every year I have 2 college football games that I really isolate. It's my college game of the year, and I know it's kind of a funny name, but we've done it over tradition, and I continue to do it. And come Thanksgiving, I'll have an even funnier name, but it's my college warm-up game of the year this Saturday. I only released the 2 plays during the year on these 2, and during my 34-year career, we're in our 35th year, I am 26-8 with this game lifetime. You can check out all the details at wagertalk.com, and we've got a special offer. You can get the entire weekend for $69, get all of my plays through Monday. And guys, we're hitting 65% this year in football with a 26-14 record. Make it official here. I'm going with Clemson. I'm going to lay the 5 points. I think this line is vastly over-adjusted. And I'm going to point one other thing out. Last year, Clemson will not take Boston College lightly. They almost lost to this team at home last year, and the reason for that, they were looking ahead. They played Boston College the week before their showdown with Florida State last year. So that scare last year will have them focused, and the backup quarterback. We know the injured player theory. We talk about it a lot. I'm going to go ahead with Clemson. Lay it 30-17, Clemson wins it. We're going to be right back. We're heading into the NFL. Got 3 games for you this week in the NFL. That's up next. WagerTalk.com.
Well, got to buy, right?
Huh?